Well, he's definitely a little bit of a celebrity, and especially right now because we're all talking about this one beluga whale that was first sighted in 2019 wearing a harness. And back then, people were wondering, where did this beluga whale turn up from? And so he's since been hanging around Norway waters. And then all of a sudden, he's turned up in Sweden. And so there is a lot of concern for him in the area because it's a lot busier boat traffic-wise. But again, he's in an area where he's likely to, or potentially will interact with humans, which he's most likely seeking. So there's a very twisted story here because on one hand, people really want to see him and engage with him. But on the other hand, people might get too close and he may risk potential being struck by a vessel or getting too close, or something fatal could happen to him.
Yes, because in Norwegian waters, he has gone very close to boats. He seems to nuzzle them. He seems to want that type of contact.
Well, and it's not surprising, to be honest. An animal to have worn a harness, that is a trained behaviour. So no one 100% knows exactly, or maybe they do, what his life was pre-rocking up with a harness on. So that is one thing. But it's most likely he was a trained animal because that takes a training to be able to do that. And the fact that he's actively seeking out human interaction does suggest that he may have spent some time in captivity prior to that. And so this animal has really captured the hearts of people all around the world. People want to see him. People will travel there to see him, but are we getting too close, and how do we manage this wild animal now interacting with people? How do we deal with this situation?
Yeah, and you know, as you pointed out, he had this harness on. He had something saying the property of St. Petersburg, and so this notion that he was a Russian spy was born. Is it more likely he was held in captivity or in some sort of circus, or some sort of performance animal?
Well, regardless of what he was doing, whether it be a spy or a sea circus animal, this animal has likely been in captivity because to be able to wear a harness, an animal would have to be reinforced. It was shown how to wear it and then become very accustomed and comfortable wearing it. And yeah, the fact that it had a label on it does potentially give some indications as to maybe what this individual was used for. So an interesting backstory that there might be uncovered many years later, or maybe we will never find out.
Yeah. So what do you think the Swedish authorities should do right now to protect him?
Well, Swedish authorities are working with very passionate people. I know there's organisations who are monitoring him, and that's a really good thing. And Swedish authorities have to do, it's an obligation now. They've got this animal in their waters. Everyone wants to protect him, and rightly so. So monitoring is key. Social media helps out because people can see him and will take photos of him, and that can let us know in near real time of where he's at. So he's definitely being monitored, and working with authorities and organisations like One Whale are looking towards solutions to potentially try and mitigate some of these interactions that he's having and potential negative interactions that he could face.
Yeah. Now let's look to some other animals of the sea, and there's this trio of orcas near Spain and Portugal that have started attacking boats. Why do you think that would happen? Why would they do that?
Goodness me, the whale world at the moment, it is whale migration here in Australia, but we are just overseas right now. Yeah, we've gone further south, still in Europe. But these killer whales, they are going up to boats and attacking them. This is a really interesting story. Now, there is at least 9 individuals or a bit more, and a particular female. So the theory is, and we don't 100% know, but there was this one female that may have potentially had a very negative interaction with a vessel, and as a result, potentially wants revenge or is finding it really reinforcing to go up to boats and bite them, and in some cases sink vessels. This is very extreme. And along with it, this female, or the matriarch in the pod, may be bringing along others with it to do a similar behaviour.
Because I hear too that there are a number of juveniles, so there's also a theory that perhaps the juveniles just think this is a bit of fun, but it sounds like maybe they're mimicking the mother, the matriarch's behaviour.
Well, they definitely have this idea of cultural transmission and learning from each other. They're mammals like you and I, and so they're very family orientated. They're very social creatures. So if someone does something, then, like kind of like a bad dog park, if you take your dog there and a dog's doing a naughty behaviour, then maybe your dog might start doing the same thing. This is kind of like what's happening in the killer whale world here. But the other thing is, maybe this is just a fad. will these killer whales become tired of this? Maybe this will become at least not really reinforcing for them in the future, and they go, oh, well, sailboats aren't really as fun as I thought, and maybe I should spend more of my time foraging or reproducing rather than attacking boats.
Historically, though, orcas have had a really bad associations with humans, haven't they?
Well, the name killer whales is not necessarily a good thing, and they probably get that because, well, these animals, some of them are known to be very specialised hunters by feeding on blue whales, dolphins, porpoises. Some very specific will feed on salmon. So there's different killer whales around the world, and fortunately, at least in the wild, we have not had any reports of a killer whale causing human death. So the name has a bit of a reputation, but they're very intelligent, and people are very fascinated by killer whales. And in this case, we don't have the salmon hat-wearing killer whales that we've had in overseas in other parts of the world, but we've now got killer whales attacking boats. What's next?
We will come back to you as soon as something else pops up. Vanessa, great to talk. Thanks so much.
Thank you.